What's up, Steelers Nation? Welcome back to the channel, your home for everything black and gold, where we break news, drop bold takes, and keep it real with the best fans in football. Now listen, the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing everything they can this offseason to level up, tweaking the roster, making bold moves, and searching for that formula to bring another Lombardi trophy back to the Burgh. So if you're loving this content and want to keep riding with us through all the drama, rumors, and roster shakeups, go ahead and smash that like button right now. And if you're new here, hit subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a video. All right, now buckle in, because today's episode is loaded. We're talking about a blockbuster trade rumor that sends TJ Watt to the 49ers and Brock Purdy to Pittsburgh. The truth behind Watt's cryptic peace sign post the future of George Pickens, and a possible NFL draft replacement. Let's get into it. So, over the last few days, the Steelers fan base has been buzzing, and not because of a big signing or draft leak. Nope. It all started with one photo. TJ Watt posting a peace sign emoji on Instagram out of nowhere. No context. Just Watt holding up two fingers, giving that I'm out vibe. And that's all it took to send Steelers Nation into DEFCON 1. People immediately started wondering, is Watt frustrated with contract talks? Is there tension between him and the front office? Is he even going to finish his career in Pittsburgh? Now look, let's be clear. Right now there is no official word that Watt is demanding a trade. But the smoke is there, and the media has noticed. And this brings us to a massive trade proposal that was thrown out by none other than former NFL player Chris Canty on ESPN Radio. Here's what Canty said on the show. Unsportsmanlike, the Steelers and 49ers should pull off a blockbuster. Trade TJ Watt for Brock Purdy. The Niners could add Watt to a defense with Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. Plus, they've got the 11th pick to draft a new QB. For Pittsburgh, it solves their quarterback issues instantly. Let's pause right there. That's a huge proposal. On the surface, you're talking about Pittsburgh finally getting a true starting QB in Brock Purdy. Young, smart, accurate, playoff-proven. San Francisco loading up its defense with another all-pro monster to terrorize. Opposing QBs, Canty even added that Watt would be a perfect fit in Robert Saleh's defense. And with the Niners already stacked on offense, it could push them over the top. So, would it work? Here's the thing. As wild as that trade sounds, the Steelers' QB situation is still shaky. Yes, they signed Russell Wilson and traded for Justin Fields. But are either of those guys guaranteed to be QB1 beyond 2024? Not necessarily. Brock Purdy, on the other hand, is just 24 under contract and has already taken his team to the Super Bowl. He might not have the flashiest arm, but he's smart, efficient, and wins games. And behind Pittsburgh's rebuilt offensive line, he could thrive. Now, losing Watt would be a gut punch, no doubt about it. He's the heart and soul of the defense. But if the Steelers think they're one quarterback away from contending, and if Watt's relationship with the team is getting strained, you at least have to consider it, right? Again, there's no indication this deal is actually happening. But the fact that it's even being discussed, that's telling. And while we're on the topic of potential trades, George Pickens' name just won't stay out of the rumor mill either. Yes, the Steelers' wide receiver room looks better than it did last season, especially after that monster signing of DK Metcalf. But that deal came with a big price tag. And with Pickens now entering the final year of his rookie contract, people are starting to wonder, can Pittsburgh afford both DK and Pickens? Is Pickens even happy in this new setup? According to James Palmer from Bleacher Report, the Steelers might already have their eyes on a draft replacement, Jaden Higgins, a physical receiver out of Iowa State. On a BR live stream, Palmer said, "There's a lot of people who believe George Pickens' time is limited. That's why they did the DK deal. That's why they paid him. Do they look for a high-volume number 2 guy like Jaden Higgins? I know they'd love to have him." Now Higgins is expected to go in the middle rounds, so he wouldn't be a plug-and-play WR2 right away. But as a developmental guy behind Metcalf, he could be a solid insurance policy if Pickens doesn't stick around past 2024. Still, the thought of letting Pickens walk, a guy who's had back-to-back highlight reel seasons, that's gonna sting. Unless there's something we don't know behind the scenes, it would be hard to see him go. We all know the story by now. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been on the hunt for a franchise quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger rode off into the sunset. And so far this offseason, it's been a rocky ride. The team brought back Mason Rudolph. Okay, reliable, sure. And added Skylar Thompson. Solid depth, but not a franchise guy. They even offered a deal to Sam Darnold, tried to re-sign Justin Fields, and reportedly showed interest in Matthew Stafford. But every single one of those options has slipped through Pittsburgh's fingers. And the most promising name left standing? Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, that Aaron Rodgers, 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champ. And let's be honest, still one of the smartest and most accurate QBs in the game when healthy. For weeks, it looked like Pittsburgh was the front-runner to land Rodgers, especially after the New York Giants, the only other team really in the mix, signed both Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, filling up their QB room in one swing. But just when things were starting to look promising, a new contender has entered the Rodgers sweepstakes. According to Mike Florio at Pro Football Talk, the New Orleans Saints are now in the mix, and it's because of a sudden, serious situation. Saints quarterback Derek Carr is reportedly dealing with a shoulder injury that could keep him out for most, if not all, of the 2025 season. That's huge. Florio says the Aaron Rodgers waiting game just got a little more interesting. With Derek Carr's injury possibly keeping him out, the Saints suddenly need a quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers is the best available free agent. Suddenly, a team that wasn't even on the radar is now a real threat to swoop in and sign Rodgers out from under the Steelers. Think about it. New Orleans may not be the flashiest destination, but if Carr is sidelined and the Saints believe they can compete in the NFC South, why wouldn't they call Rodgers? Here's where it gets even more intriguing, and maybe a little frustrating if you're a Steelers fan. Florio suggests that Rodgers might actually be waiting for this exact kind of situation to happen. A quarterback goes down, a contending team suddenly needs a proven veteran. Boom, Rodgers gets the call, and as Florio puts it, the situation further underscores the reality that more opportunities could arise in time. The right injury at the right time opens a possible door for Rodgers. So what does that mean for Pittsburgh? It means we're in a waiting game now, and not a fun one. The Steelers may have been the early favorites, but if Rodgers is holding out for the best possible opportunity, and New Orleans suddenly offers him a starting role with a ready-to-win defense, Pittsburgh could get left in the dust. And here's the double whammy, Steelers Nation. Not only could the Saints steal Rodgers, but they're also in position to sabotage Pittsburgh's draft plans. The Saints currently hold the number 9 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. That's 12 spots ahead of the Steelers, who pick at 21. And get this, the Saints are the last quarterback-needy team picking before Pittsburgh. That means if the Steelers are eyeing someone like Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart, New Orleans could easily swoop in and snatch them off the board first. So yeah, the Saints might just be the new villains in the Steelers' offseason story. They've got the power to mess up the quarterback situation in free agency and in the draft. That's a 1-2 punch we didn't see coming. So let's wrap this one up, Steelers Nation, because I need to hear your take on all of this. Would you trade T.J. Watt for Brock Purdy if it meant solving the QB position long-term? Should the Steelers trust Fields and Wilson or make a bold move now? And what about George Pickens? Would you trade him before the season or let him walk in 2025? Is Jaden Higgins a worthy replacement? Let me know what you think in the comments. And don't hold back. We want the real, unfiltered takes. And of course, if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into all things Steelers. Big things are coming. The draft is heating up. And we'll be right here breaking it all down for you. Until next time, stay loyal, stay loud, and as always, here we go, Steelers!